Yes. Okay. Welcome to
Hi.
Film Invasion LA.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. Tell me your name and the name of your film.
Yeah, for sure. My name is Tobin Carter, and I have a film here called Real Mother.
Okay. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your film.
Yeah, for sure. It's a film about an adoptee who goes and meets his biological mother for the first time after all his life, hearing about how he needs to meet his like real family to know where he came from. And he's looking for this like transcendent experience, and when he meets her, he realizes she's just a person. And so it's kind of like exploring what that feels like. I'm an adoptee myself, so it was like a very
I was wondering if it was a
personal film.
personal story.
Yeah.
I watched it and I loved
Oh,
it. I
thank
thought it
you.
was absolutely amazing. Really well done.
Thank you so
And,
much.
Yeah, and it felt very personal.
It was very scary to be that
Yeah.
personal.
Yeah, I imagine. And did you actually do that? Did you try to go find your adopted mom? Is that what inspired the story?
So actually what inspired the story was the flashback sequences in the film.
Oh, okay.
I was telling my friend, like, every single flashback in the film is based on a real experience I've had and like an interaction I've had. And they were like, what? No way. Like, people like weren't understanding like
Yeah.
how that like experience felt.
Right.
And then I have I don't have a relationship with my bio mother, and it's not something that I've ever wanted. And that was like something that was so interesting. I don't see that like represented in like media. And so I was like, I wanted those two things were kind of like married in my mind. And then I was like, let's, just build the story between those two.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was wondering too, all the questions, like the flashbacks when people were asking him all the questions. I'm like, is this really what happens? Because a
Yeah.
lot of those questions sounded very like almost harsh.
They're very,
I was like, whoa.
it's so odd because like, they're questions that I think a lot of people have
Yeah.
that they like mean to come from like a place of like genuine interest.
Yes.
And then people like ask them and like, they do come off very harsh. Like
Right.
the parent asking the 5-year-old, like, well, why didn't your real mom and dad want you? That was a question that like someone asked me when I was in preschool at a birthday party. And I was like, whoa.
God.
And like that really affected me growing up. Like I still
Wow.
remember that. And it
Yeah.
was just one of those things where I was like, I don't think people realize how harsh it is
Right.
until they see how like consistent it is as like a narrative through line.
Yeah, and then it's interesting because I bet a lot of other people have experienced the same thing.
Yeah.
And so if they watch that film, they feel connected to it and they feel very seen. And they're like, it's not just me who gets these kinds of questions.
It was one of the most rewarding experiences, I think, at I had a screening for like friends and family, and I had a friend of mine who's also adopted, and she went and watched it, and she came out and she was like had tears, like, and she was like, dude, I've never had like, I've always felt that way, and I've never had like, a way to like describe it to people that was
Yeah.
great. And so it was like,
Oh.
it was one of those moments where I was like, it resonated with the people I wanted it to resonate with,
Yeah.
and that was like really reassuring to me as a creative.
Yeah, and as a filmmaker and a creative, it's like if you reach one person, you've done your job.
Exactly, exactly.
So, that's amazing. You wrote and directed it. And
I wrote, and it was my
produced?
first time writing and directing.
Awesome.
I produced it, which was also very scary.
Yeah.
No, it was a really exciting process. I'd been wanting to write and direct. I'd tried a couple of things before. I was in clubs at college, but they were like fun group things that we would start projects and never really finish. Like my friend group, it was super talented, but like, I don't know, we just were like super busy the semesters I tried to. And I was like, no, I want to sit and like finally like finish something and like do it. And this one I was like, oh, this is so personal. I'm mortified. I should hand it off to someone who's more experienced, who has actually seen that through and who has all. But then I was like, no, I'm going to. So I reached out to my friends and I was like, I know that we can do this, because they've done other things. We've just always been very silly with it. I'm like, let's like really lock in and like make something. And I reached out to Case Walker, who's our lead. He's coming off of 3 seasons of HBO Max's The Other Two,
Oh, nice.
and both Monster High movies on Paramount Plus.
That's awesome.
And I was like, dude, I don't have a budget. I can't afford you, but I really feel strongly about this script. Would you be willing to read it and just let me know if this is something you'd even be interested in?
Right.
And it was the most terrifying 24 hours of my life where I didn't hear back. And then he called me and I was like, okay, this is like, the moment. And he was like, dude, I want to be on this. So that was super exciting. I feel so lucky because like all the actors in the film are professionals.
Yeah,
and so it was like,
wonderful. They did a great job.
it was like a director's dream, especially as a first time director, to just like lean back and like, I had a crew that was amazing. I had a cast that was amazing. It couldn't have been better for me. And I feel so fortunate. Yeah, every single person on the team. I could not have done it without them.
Yeah, of course. And did you know him before, or you just like
I did.
admired him as an actor? Okay.
I did. He and I used to go to acting class together,
Okay.
and then we've kept in touch over the years.
Oh, that's great.
And yeah, it was just one of those things where we haven't like. I was at college, so I went to school at the University of California, Berkeley, and
Okay.
he was I think in Colorado, and then when he was filming, he'd be in either New York or Vancouver. So our paths hadn't crossed in I think like in person in like 4 years by that point. And I reached out to him. I'm like, dude, I know it's been a minute, but.
Aw.
But no, it was great. And
Worked
Case is super incredible.
Yeah.
He's super kind, and we
Great
just like
actor.
picked up.
He did amazing in the
Phenomenal
film. He
actor.
did so good in the film.
There was like this scene where him and his adoptive mom are on a beach together,
Yeah.
and while we were filming that, like the crew was crying while we were shooting that.
Aw.
But no, he's just so good, and he's so wonderful to work with that it was
That's
really
awesome.
fortunate.
Yeah, no, the film was amazing. It was one of my
Thank
favorites
you.
of the fest, and I truly
Thank you so
mean that. I thought
much.
it was beautiful. What's next for you as a filmmaker?
Oh boy. I you know what they say, a moving target is harder to hit.
Right.
I have another short film that's on the festival circuit as well. It's
Oh my
a
gosh.
sci-fi like post-apocalyptic film.
Is it in our festival?
It is not. It is not.
Okay.
It's more. I just kind of started putting it out, so it's like still like exploring where it's gonna wind up going. But and then I have a few other short films I worked on that are
Nice.
getting ready. But I'm hopefully I want to do a feature film next summer. So
Okay. Well, Real
Hopefully.
Mother was your first, and now
Yeah.
you already have others out in the festival. So you're well on your way to doing a
I'm-
feature.
I'm trying. I'm
Okay.
trying.
Well, I mean, if you do, please submit it.
Oh,
Love
you
to see it.
you know it.
And you should totally submit your sci-fi to Sherman
Yeah.
Oaks in December.
Yeah.
The Sherman Oaks Film Festival.
Yeah, that
which
would
we
be
also
great.
do. Yeah, submit it.
Oh.
We want to see it.
I
Yeah,
might have
we want
to.
see it. Yes, do it. Well,
Okay.
congratulations.
Thank you
on the
so
success
much.
of your film and all your films to come.
Thank
And
you.
I can't wait to see more from you.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy
I'm so
the
excited to be here.
festival.
Thank
yeah,
you.
I'm so excited to have you. Enjoy the festival.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, you did great.